Which person who died too early in life had the most potential? I'm going historical. Prince Arthur Tudor. He died aged 15, leaving his younger brother Henry to become Henry VIII of England. Arthur was apparently more of a scholar than anything else, compared to his brother who was more into the idea of being a warrior king. Had Arthur survived and gone on to become king, then global history would have taken a very different turn. Srinivasa Ramanujan, probably the greatest mathematician that pushed modern mathematics at galactic speed, died only aged 32. The world's leading AIDS researchers that got shot down in 2014. Otis Redding. Based on his energy, the fact that after a short career with an amazing voice, he came back from surgery with a better one, recorded one of the great songs of the 20th century, and then immediately died. Alan Turing died for the worst fucking reason, and what happened to him was a travesty. Amadeus Mozart. While he wasn't terribly young, I'd say his true potential life was cut in half. Imagine what music will never be or where it could have gone had he lived a longer life. My wife died 2 weeks ago. At 42, she was the prettiest, smartest, and nicest woman I have ever met. She dedicated her life to helping those less fortunate than us. I was the luckiest man in the world for 17 years. Steve Irwin. I believe his conservation work would have probably spilled over into environmental issues, and he seemed passionate about doing good, not just fame and money. Phil Hartman. Buddy Holly. Of course, he already wrote some fantastic songs. But man, would it be a treat to see his songwriting in the 60s. Could end up being the same, or he could have grown. But it's those what ifs. Stevie Ray Vaughan. He really got his shit together and seemed to really be in a good place career-wise and in his personal life. Terry Fox. He died at 22 after running halfway across Canada with one leg and stricken with lung cancer. Imagine what he could have done in life without cancer holding him back. Jeff Buckley. MLK. Douglas Adams. Carl Sagan. Freddie Mercury. Hendrix. Bruce Lee. Cameron Boyce. River Phoenix. Jim Croce. Jonathan Larson. He died in 1996 at the age of 35, just before his musical Rent came out. It's a shame that he worked so hard for his opportunity and he couldn't see what an impact he had. Biggest thing is, his death could have easily been prevented. He was misdiagnosed at 2 separate occasions leading up to his death. Evariste Galois. Srinivasa Ramanujan. Selena. Anton Yelchin. Nick Drake. Bobby Kennedy. Cliff Burton, the bassist of Metallica. He taught all the other bandmates musical theory, harmonies and all that stuff, because he was the only one that was actually musically trained in school. He died in a bus accident when they were on tour. He and Kirk, still the lead guitarist in the band, were choosing who would sleep on top of the bunk bed. It was supposed to be Kirk, but Cliff insisted that he'd sleep on top. When the accident happened, he was thrown out. The bus lost traction and it landed right on top of him. The sad part is it would have been either him or Kirk. Lane Staley. My son died 19 days ago at 43 years old. It was totally unexpected. He was recovering from a routine surgery and he developed a blood clot 9 days after. He will be missed every moment. I have no words. Alan Turing. Chadwick Boseman. Such a talented actor, and seemed like a genuinely good person. My takeaway from this thread is that art is widely considered the most significant contribution a person can make to humanity human society. Vince Guaraldi. Do you ever listen to the Charlie Brown Christmas and wonder why you don't hear more amazing music? By Vince Guaraldi? He died of a heart attack at the young age of 47. Cliff Burton. Heath Ledger. Duane Allman. Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was an incredibly gifted actor, and I would be genuinely excited when a film with him came out to see what he would do. There should have been a lot more anticipatory moments like that. Elliott Smith, dead 20 years now, was a brilliant musician. Aaliyah. My mother. She was amazing. Chris Farley. Jane Austen. Alan Turing. Jeremy Hardy. Alexander the Great. Patrice Lumumba. He was the first Prime Minister of the independent Congo state, the first democratically elected black man to be Prime Minister of the Congo after the horrific and brutal colonization by Belgium and King Leopold. This was a man who was going to lead his country into brighter days. And then the CIA murdered his ass after he asked USSR for some aid. After USA denied him that aid, Patrice Lumumba was a great man who had the CIA lead a coup against him which plunged the Congo into chaos, which is known as the Congo Crisis. And that fucking ghoul Henry Kissinger still lives. Ritchie Valens. Brittany Murphy. I guess you could argue she didn't have the most potential out of all of these, but she was the first one I thought of. Randy Rhoads. 25. Amy Winehouse is up there. There's no way to know. My aunt had 2 babies that died shortly after birth. I had a classmate who needed a heart transplant, but couldn't get one, and died in junior high. My sister had a classmate who died of cancer. I used to live about 3 blocks from Caltech. Every year 1-2 kids there buckle under pressure and hang themselves. It's easy, I guess, to say Jim Morrison would have released more great music. Edgar Allan Poe would have revolutionized literature, but there are so many people who die so young that there's just no way to know what they'd have been capable of. I would think anyone who died too early had potential, and it was lost. Janis Joplin. Aaron Swartz. Steve Irwin. He was only like 40-something when he died. And being as influential as he was, I truly think we'd be at least a little less fucked on the ecological front. Mitch Hedberg. Definitely taken away from us too soon. Patrice Lumumba. Freddie Mercury had so much more brilliant music in him. Kurt Cobain. Chester Bennington. John F. Kennedy. Maryam Mirzakhani died at 40 of cancer. She was Iranian. In 2014, Mirzakhani won the Fields Medal, the equivalent of the Nobel Prize for Mathematics, which is awarded by the International Congress of Mathematicians. The award recognized her sophisticated and original contributions to the fields of geometry and dynamical systems, particularly in understanding the symmetry of curved surfaces such as spheres. I wish I could name all the Native Americans who are killed every year trying to protect their land from oil companies. Heath Ledger. It would have been great to see him have a full career. Any member of the 27 Club. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, Lane Staley or Shannon Hoon. Avicii, Jimi Hendrix and many from the 27 Club. Marvin Gaye. Jeff Buckley comes to mind. Only one incredible studio album completed. It's changed many lives. Dostoevsky. Really wish we could have got the rest of Alyosha's story. Would have loved 50 more years of Jimi Hendrix's talent.